hard to believe, but the Prince George Legion estimates as many as 1,200 veterans of all conflicts are living in Prince George. As time goes on, Afghanistan veterans are making up an increasing percentage of the veteran population. Hannah Tita spoke with one local Afghan veteran to learn how he looks at his role in Canadian military history.
Being able to give back to your country, to serve it, it's a rewarding career.
Jason Downing is a Canadian Air Force veteran.
Both my father and my grandfather served, as well as most of my uncles, so it was a bit of a family tradition, but I had started university, was looking around at a couple friends that had joined and thought it was a good opportunity for myself.
In 2009, he served in Kandahar, Afghanistan as an aviation operations manager.
I had a cell of 3 people that we manned a desk in our operations group 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year. So I was overseeing a team that would coordinate all of the heavy lift requirements, whether it be supplies, people, equipment, as well as the medevac component.
He is proud to have served our country, saying the Canadian forces are in the top tier as far as training and how we represent ourselves overseas.
You never want to be involved in conflict, of course, but it's something that the armed forces was very good about keeping people well prepared. I think that we were over there for a reason, to help the people of Afghanistan, and that to me was probably the more rewarding, fulfilling aspects of my time over there.
With a dwindling population of World War II vets, those who served in Afghanistan and Bosnia make up a large portion of retired members of the Canadian Forces. But sometimes they find it difficult to see themselves as veterans.
I can certainly relate with that. It's something that when you leave the armed forces, I don't necessarily consider myself a veteran. The profile of a veteran was, a World War II or Korea War vet when I was growing up anyway. So now to be considered a veteran at a younger age, but I think it's something that younger veterans should also be getting involved and helping out where they can.
The Prince George Royal Canadian Legion both recognizes and honors all veterans.
It wasn't just First and Second World War, and yes, they are very important to us, but yes, so are the Afghanistan veterans who fought and died, and even the people who have died in our country. We are really, really trying to get them involved because, they need to be involved to keep this legacy going.
Of course, serving our country comes at a price. After service, most veterans deal with some sort of mental or emotional stress. Speaking from his own experience, Downing says support networks are available after release from the armed forces.
I understand the Legion now has expanding programs in that area as well to identify those that may not be close to military support, so I think those are all positive moves.
The Legion recently embarked on an operational stress injury program.
There is a huge operational stress injury problem. Some of them are on the street. You've got to try to get them off the street, try to get them some financial help if they need it. We also have educational training. We have the Veterans Transition program.
An undertaking to make the transition into civilian life a little easier.
It's going to help us a lot to help these people out, where there's lots of them, and there's lots of them here in Prince George.
On this day, November 11th, it's important to take time to reflect, to remember those who lost their lives, and to thank our veterans for their service.
All of us probably throughout our lineage have, grandfathers, great-grandfathers, or great-grandmothers for that matter, that have served during previous conflicts like Korea, World War II, World War I, and even recently, places like Bosnia or Afghanistan. So it's certainly a sign of respect, and as a veteran, we certainly appreciate that.
Hannah Tita, CKPG News.
It's an unassuming building near Moores Meadow where children once played and learned the basics of their education. Meadow Elementary School is now the armory of the Rocky Mountain Rangers Company B and plays an important role in educating members of the reserve unit.
Ever watchful, that is the motto of the Rocky Mountain Rangers, which was re-established in Prince George in mid-2012.
The Rocky Mountain Rangers are a primary reserve unit in the Canadian Army. So what that means is we train mostly part-time soldiers to augment the regular force and to be available for things like disaster relief, domestic operations, that sort of thing.
The primary reserve unit is headquartered in Kamloops. Prince George is Company B, infantry-trained reservists. While there are 3 full-time personnel at Company B, the 60 or so members come from all walks of life.
The Army Reserves in general and the Rocky Mountain Rangers specifically, we pull from all walks of life. We have people here who are high school students, university students, tradesmen, all sorts. You don't really need any special talents to join the Army Reserve. We're going to teach you everything you need to know. We get guys who walk in off the street and they have no idea about anything military. We'll teach you everything.
Corporal Cameron MALNER joined 4 years ago at the tender age of 23.
I was trying to get into the reg force, and I just done a Google search. I found out about it. So I talked to the recruiter here and signed up.
Private Dehan Sim is a high school student and has been part of Company B for merely months.
To be honest, there's a multitude of reasons, I believe. I believe that I get a lot of good experiences, meet new people, and because I'm a high school student, a little bit of extra money always helps. I meet a lot of new people, learn a lot of new things, and while other jobs, mostly, the pay would not be as great as most high school students get at, and the training would obviously be a little bit less.
Well, Private Sim's pretty new, so he's at the point where he's learning basic infantry skills. Tonight's training involves the conduct of a reconnaissance patrol. He's recently completed basic training, which includes basic weapons handling, how to dress yourself in the uniform, rank structure, how to conduct foot drill, that sort of thing. But he's now moving on to those things that make one an infantry soldier, which is what we train here.
And that's exactly what is happening on this night, training.
So, once again, tonight we're going to be doing a bunch of comm stuff.
But tonight, there was a bit more than just training.
Earthquake relief operation commencing in Vancouver tomorrow. Okay.
The unit has been called out.
It's an exercise scenario totally, so none of it is real. But what happened was my boss's boss down in Vancouver called him and said, it's an exercise scenario. We're pretending there's an earthquake in Vancouver right now. We need to know how many of your guys would be available to assist in Vancouver starting tomorrow for we don't know how long. Exercise, exercise, exercise. Call everyone.
The event is designed to test the readiness of the unit in Prince George should an event require their skills.
So what we're doing is actually running the call out, and I will report numbers to my boss, who will report numbers for the regiment between Kamloops and Prince George back to Vancouver. And so he'll say, for example, these are just made up numbers. Within the Rocky Mountain Rangers, we would have 55 individuals. That's broken down to 6 officers, 7 senior NCOs, and the remainder non-commissioned members.
While the Vancouver call-out is just a simulation, the unit was on call-out for real not that long ago.
When the Fort Mac fires were ongoing, we were actually on standby here at the unit. It doesn't look a lot different than it usually does. Everybody was still going to their civilian jobs and everything like that. Maybe they're checking their phones a little bit more frequently. But everyone within the unit, the subunit here in Prince George, was aware, hey, we might get the call, we might be going to Alberta to fight forest fires.
The current unit is about 60 members strong, but Captain Mike OVIATT would be happier if that number were closer to 100. Cheryl Jan, CKPG News.
When we come back, we'll visit one of the city's largest parks where more than 1,000 veterans have been laid to rest.